You see a pyramid in Egypt, then you see one in Mexico, then Cambodia, then Sudan, then China. Same shape, same precision, same impossible weight, builders separated by oceans and centuries. Yet they all reach the same conclusion: stack millions of stones into a perfect triangle pointing at the stars. Coincidence? Independent invention? Or something else? What happens when you map every pyramid on Earth and realize they're not random dots, but a pattern that spans the globe? The Great Pyramid at Giza stands 451 feet tall, 2,300,000 stone blocks. Each block weighs 2.5 tons on average. The largest granite stones weigh 15 tons, built around 2,550 BCE. It held the record as the world's tallest building for 3,800 years. No modern crane could lift those granite beams into place. But here's what they don't tell you in school. Giza wasn't the first, and it definitely wasn't the last. If you value documented ancient history like this, subscribe. It's the best way to support our work. Also comment from which city you're hearing this from. This script is researched and factual, using sources from archaeological surveys and carbon dating studies. Now, back to the story. 600 miles south of Giza, the Kushite kingdom built 255 pyramids between 700 BCE and 350 CE. At Nuri, 21 royal pyramids crowd a single hillside. King Taharka's pyramid rises 160 feet, smaller than Giza, but built with the same precision, same internal chambers, same star alignments, across the Atlantic. Teotihuacan, Mexico. The Pyramid of the Sun measures 750 feet on each side at the base. 213 feet tall, built around 100 CE by people who had never seen the Nile, never heard of pharaohs. Yet they used the same four-sided design, the same cardinal alignments, the same internal tunnel systems leading to burial chambers. The numbers don't lie. Giza's base perimeter is 3,023 feet. Teotihuacan's Pyramid of the Sun has a base perimeter of 2,992 feet. The difference? 31 feet across a structure nearly half a mile around. That's a margin of error of 1%. Move east. Angkor Wat, Cambodia, 1,250 feet long, 850 feet wide, 213 feet tall, built between 1,113 and 1,150 CE by the Khmer Empire. The temple complex mirrors the constellation Draco exactly as it appeared in 10,500 BCE, 8,000 years before construction began. But Angkor isn't the only Cambodian pyramid. Ko Ker, built between 921 and 944 CE, rises 115 feet in 7 tiers. Prasat Tam, the main temple, aligns perfectly with the summer solstice sunrise, just like Giza, just like Teotihuacan. Xi'an, China, the mausoleum of the first Qin emperor, built 210 BCE, 250 feet tall, 350 feet wide. Buried under 2,000 years of dirt, it wasn't properly excavated until 1974 when farmers, digging a well, uncovered the terracotta army. Ground-penetrating radar shows the same internal chamber structure as Egyptian pyramids. Carbon dating from pyramid sites worldwide shows clustering around specific time periods: 2500 to 2000 BCE, 800 to 400 BCE, 1000 to 1200 CE. Why these windows? What triggered simultaneous pyramid construction across continents? The Bosnian Pyramid of the Sun, discovered in 2005, 220 feet tall, 720 feet on each side. Carbon dating of organic material from the concrete layers dates construction to 12,350 years ago, 7,000 years before Giza. Dr. Sam Osmanagish leads the excavation. His team has removed thousands of tons of dirt and vegetation, revealing worked stone blocks weighing up to 40 tons. The concrete binding these blocks together is stronger than modern Portland cement. No ancient civilization was supposed to have this technology 12,000 years ago. The Giza complex covers 575 acres. Teotihuacan covers 8 square miles. Angkor Wat covers 400 acres. Bosnia's Pyramid Valley covers 4 square miles. All contain multiple pyramids. All contain underground tunnel systems. All align with the same star patterns. Golden ratio appears everywhere. Giza's slope angle of 51 degrees 52 minutes produces a perfect golden ratio between the pyramid's height and base width. Teotihuacan's Pyramid of the Sun uses identical proportions. The Bosnian pyramid's slope angle measures exactly 45 degrees. But here's what should keep you awake at night. These aren't just buildings, they're machines. If you value documented ancient history like this, subscribe. It's the best way to support our work. Also, comment from which city you're hearing this from. Now, back to the story. The Great Pyramid generates electromagnetic fields. NASA satellite data confirms this. The pyramid focuses energy at its apex and base. The internal chambers resonate at specific frequencies that match the Earth's natural resonance, 7.83 Hz. The King's Chamber dimensions create perfect acoustic properties. Sing a note in that chamber, and it rings for 27 seconds. Teotihuacan shows the same electromagnetic properties. Local electronics malfunction near the pyramid. Compass needles spin randomly. The pyramid sits on a natural magnetic anomaly, but the builders positioned their pyramid at the exact center of the magnetic field. The Bosnian pyramid generates ultrasonic beams. Dr. Osmanagic's team measured energy emissions reaching 28 kilohertz, far above human hearing range. The energy beam shoots straight up from the pyramid's apex, maintaining its intensity for half a mile above the structure. Underground tunnel systems connect these sites. Giza's tunnels extend for miles beneath the plateau. Ground-penetrating radar shows tunnel networks beneath Teotihuacan, Angkor Wat, and the Bosnian Pyramid Complex. All follow similar patterns, main arteries branching into smaller passages, all leading to central chambers deep underground. The builders positioned these structures on specific geological features: limestone bedrock, natural springs, magnetic anomalies, fault lines. Every major pyramid site sits on moving water, underground rivers or springs that flow year-round. Easter Island's Moai statues weigh 14 tons on average. The largest completed statue weighs 82 tons, 987 statues total. Carved from volcanic rock and moved across the island without wheels, without horses, without modern machinery. Recent excavations reveal the Moai have bodies buried underground. The statues we see are just heads. The full sculptures extend 25 feet below ground. Nan Madol, Micronesia, built between 1000 and 1300 CE. 92 artificial islands connected by canals. The main structures use basalt columns weighing up to 50 tons. The builders transported these columns from quarries on the opposite side of the island, then lifted them into place 60 feet above sea level. Local legend says the builders used sound to move the stones, chants and drums that made heavy rocks float through the air. Sound levitation might seem impossible, but modern physics proves that specific sound frequencies can overcome gravity. The frequencies match those generated inside pyramid chambers. Pumapunku, Bolivia, 12,000 feet above sea level, built around 600 CE. Andesite stones cut with precision that rivals modern laser technology. Joints between stones are so tight you can't slip a knife blade between them. The stones show drill holes, saw marks, and perfectly smooth surfaces. H-blocks at Pumapunku show advanced engineering. The stones interlock using complex joint systems that distribute weight evenly across the entire structure. Modern engineers study these joints for earthquake-resistant building design. Carbon dating from Pumapunku shows construction beginning in 15,000 BCE. Baalbek, Lebanon. The Temple of Jupiter sits on a foundation of limestone blocks weighing 800 to 1,000 tons each. The largest block, called the Stone of the Pregnant Woman, weighs 1,650 tons. Modern cranes max out at 300 tons. The foundation stones at Baalbek show the same precision cutting found at Pumapunku, Giza, and Nan Madol. Perfectly smooth surfaces, perfect right angles, joints so tight they don't need mortar. The builders use the same techniques worldwide. Despite being separated by oceans and centuries, Göbekli Tepe, Turkey, built 11,600 years ago, 6,000 years before Stonehenge, massive stone pillars arranged in circles. The largest pillars weigh 16 tons and stand 18 feet tall. Each pillar is carved from a single piece of limestone, then decorated with reliefs of animals, symbols, and geometric patterns. The builders deliberately buried Göbekli Tepe around 8,000 BCE. They covered the entire site with tons of dirt and stones, hiding it from view for 10,000 years. Why bury your greatest architectural achievement? The animal carvings at Göbekli Tepe show species that didn't exist in that region 11,000. Lions, leopards, rhinoceros, serpents, animals from Africa and Asia, carved by people who supposedly never left Turkey. Stonehenge, England, built in stages between 3,100 and 2,000 BCE. The largest sarsen stones weigh 25 tons. The smaller blue stones weigh 4 tons each, but were quarried 150 miles away in Wales. Pre-wheel civilizations somehow transported 82 blue stones across rivers, hills, and forests. Stonehenge aligns with the summer solstice sunrise and winter solstice sunset. But it also aligns with lunar cycles, planetary movements, and star positions that change over thousands of years. The builders incorporated astronomical calculations spanning millennia into their design. Every major pyramid and megalithic site shows the same astronomical precision. Giza aligns with Orion. Angkor Wat mirrors Draco. Teotihuacan tracks the Pleiades. The Bosnian pyramid points to the North Star. Builders worldwide were obsessed with the same star patterns, the same mathematical ratios, the same impossible precision. The precision gets disturbing when you examine the mathematics. Giza's Great Pyramid encodes the value of pi to 15 decimal places. The pyramid's perimeter, divided by its height, equals pi exactly. The pyramid also encodes the speed of light. The pyramid's location, 29 degrees, 979 minutes, 245 seconds north latitude, matches the speed of light in meters per second. Teotihuacan shows identical mathematical sophistication. The pyramid of the sun's base measurement of 755 feet, when multiplied by Paxios Maoa, gives the exact height of the Great Pyramid at Giza. Two civilizations, separated by an ocean and 1,500 years, using the same mathematical relationship. Sound technology appears at every major site. The Temple of Kukulkan at Chichen Itza produces acoustic effects that modern architects can't explain. Clap your hands at the base of the pyramid, and it echoes back as the chirp of a quetzal bird. The pyramid transforms the acoustic frequency of the hand clap into a completely different sound. Dr. David Lubman's acoustic analysis revealed that Chichen Itza's pyramid functions as a massive sound resonator. Stand at the bottom and whisper, someone at the top can hear every word clearly. The pyramid amplifies and focuses sound waves with precision that requires advanced understanding of acoustic engineering. Sacsayhuaman stones weigh up to 300 tons each. The largest block is 28 feet tall, 23 feet wide, and 18 feet thick. The stones fit together so perfectly that you can't insert a piece of paper between them. No mortar was used. The quarry for Sacsayhuaman stones lies 20 miles away, across rivers and mountain valleys. Local legend says the builders used plant acids to soften stone, making it moldable like clay. Several Sacsayhuaman stones show what appear to be rope impressions, grooves that suggest the stone was soft when ropes were wrapped around it. Dr. Jan Peter de Jong analyzed samples from these. He found traces of organic compounds consistent with plant-based acids that can break down limestone's calcium carbonate bonds. The acids temporarily dissolve the stone's molecular structure, making it soft and moldable. The same chemical traces appear in stone samples from Pumapunku, Baalbek, and Easter Island. Magnetic anomalies cluster around pyramid sites in ways that can't be natural. Giza sits on a massive magnetic anomaly that extends deep into the Earth's crust. Dr. Joe Parr's research team measured electromagnetic emissions from the Great Pyramid. The pyramid generates measurable electromagnetic fields that pulse in rhythm with the Earth's natural resonance. These fields pulse at precise frequencies that match specific brainwave patterns. 7.8 Hz matches alpha brainwaves, the frequency associated with deep meditation and altered consciousness. The pyramid generates the exact frequency that alters human consciousness. Cahokia, Illinois, contained the largest pyramid north of Mexico. Monk's Mound rises 100 feet tall and covers 14 acres at its base. Built between 900 and 1200 CEE, it contained over 22 million cubic feet of earth. The pyramid sits at the center of a planned city that housed 20,000 people. But Cahokia was abandoned suddenly around 1250 CE. The entire city emptied within a generation. No warfare, no disease, no environmental catastrophe. The people just left, never to return. The same pattern appears at other major sites. Angkor Wat was abandoned in 1431 CE. Teotihuacan was abandoned around 750 CE. These weren't gradual declines. These were coordinated evacuations of major population centers. Climate data shows these abandonments correspond with global environmental changes. Solar minimum periods that reduced agricultural productivity. Volcanic events that altered weather patterns. The monuments were designed to survive what their builders knew was coming. Massive stone construction that could withstand earthquakes. Elevated platforms that rise above flood levels. Underground chambers that provide protection from surface disasters. The pyramids aren't just buildings, they're survival shelters built to preserve knowledge through global catastrophes. Modern climate science confirms these ancient fears were justified. Ice core data shows the Earth experiences regular catastrophic events every few thousand years. The ancient builders witnessed these events and designed their monuments to survive them. DNA analysis of mummies from pyramid sites reveals genetic markers that don't match local populations. Egyptian mummies contain genetic sequences from Europe, Asia, and the Americas. Peruvian mummies show African and Asian genetic markers. The pyramid builders weren't isolated local civilizations. They were part of a global network. The evidence points to a conclusion that mainstream archaeology refuses to consider. An advanced global civilization existed thousands of years before recorded history. They had mathematical knowledge, electromagnetic technology, acoustic engineering, advanced chemistry, and global transportation networks. This civilization faced a global catastrophe that destroyed most of their cities. The survivors scattered to different continents and built monuments to preserve their knowledge. Each monument encoded the same mathematical relationships, the same astronomical alignments, the same electromagnetic properties. They were building instruction manuals in stone, monuments that would survive global catastrophes and preserve essential knowledge for future civilizations. The pyramids aren't just ancient buildings. They're messages from our predecessors, warning us about cyclical catastrophes and teaching us how to survive them. The mathematics become more unsettling when you dig deeper. The Great Pyramid's internal passages encode the Earth's precise dimensions. The descending passage angle of 26 degrees 31 minutes points directly to Alpha Draconis, the pole star when the pyramid was built. The ascending passage points to Alcyone in the Pleiades constellation. Both alignments were perfect 4,500 years ago, but stellar precession means they're now off by degrees. The builders calculated stellar movement across millennia. Water flow patterns beneath pyramid sites reveal another layer of engineering sophistication. The Giza Plateau sits on a natural aquifer that flows toward the Nile. The Great Pyramid's subterranean chamber connects to this water system by nicely cut channels. When Nile flood levels rise, water enters the pyramid's lower chambers, creating hydraulic pressure that resonates through the entire structure. Engineer Christopher Dunn analyzed the King's Chamber's granite walls and found tool marks indicating precision machining. The walls show parallel grooves consistent with high-speed cutting tools. The corners are perfectly square to within thousandths of an inch. The chamber's dimensions create a resonant frequency of 438 Hz, a frequency that modern sound healers use for cellular regeneration. The sarcophagus in the King's Chamber rings like a bell when struck. Frequency analysis shows it resonates at exactly 440 Hz. The granite box was carved from a single piece of stone with walls exactly the thickness needed for structural integrity. It wasn't built to hold a body. It was built to generate specific acoustic frequency. Similar acoustic properties appear at Newgrange, Ireland, built around 3200 BCE, 500 years before Stonehenge. The passage tomb's inner chamber creates a resonance frequency that matches the human voice at exactly 110 Hz. Stand in the chamber and hum. The sound builds into a powerful drone that can be felt in your chest. Newgrange aligns with winter solstice sunrise. On December 21st, a beam of sunlight travels down the 19-meter passage and illuminates the inner chamber for exactly 17 minutes. The light beam hits a triple spiral carved into the back wall, a symbol that appears at megalithic sites worldwide. The triple spiral appears at Tarxian temples in Malta. Built between 3,600 and 2,500, the temples contain the oldest known depictions of the spiral symbol, carved into limestone blocks weighing up to 20 tons. Malta's temples predate Stonehenge by 1,000 years. Yet they show the same astronomical alignments and acoustic properties. Hypogeum of Hal Saflieni in Malta goes deeper, literally. The underground temple complex descends 3 levels into solid limestone. The builders carved over 33 chambers from living rock, creating spaces that amplify human voice frequencies while filtering out all other sounds. Speak in the oracle chamber, and your voice carries throughout the entire complex. Whisper, and it sounds like you're shouting. But here's what archaeologists won't discuss. Radiocarbon dating from the hypogeum's deepest level shows human occupation dating back to 8000 BCE. That's 3,000 years before official construction dates, 3,000 years before humans supposedly developed advanced stone carving techniques. The acoustic chambers at Malta contain thousands of human skulls showing unusual elongation. The skulls are 30% larger than normal human skulls, with different bone thickness and cranial capacity. DNA analysis reveals genetic markers that don't match any known human population. Ancient or modern, similar elongated skulls appear at Paracas, Peru. Over 300 skulls discovered in desert tombs, all showing the same cranial enlargement. The skulls have red hair and pale skin, genetic traits that don't exist in indigenous Peruvian populations. Carbon dating places the skulls between 3,000 and 2,000 years old. Dr. Brian Furster's genetic analysis of Paracas skulls reveals mitochondrial DNA that doesn't match any known human haplogroup. The closest genetic matches come from populations in the Black Sea region and Eastern Europe. How did European genetics end up in pre-Columbian Peru? The skull elongation isn't from artificial cranial binding. The skulls show natural growth patterns, additional cranial sutures, and bone thickness variations that indicate genetic differences, not cultural modification. These weren't normal humans who modified their skulls. These were genetically distinct populations with naturally enlarged craniums. The same skull types appear at Easter Island, Tiwanaku, in Bolivia, and multiple sites in Egypt, all dated to overlapping time periods, all associated with megalithic construction, all showing the same genetic anomalies. The pyramid builders weren't entirely human, as we understand the term. Underwater exploration is revealing the true scope of the lost civilization. Off the coast of Yonaguni, Japan, massive stone structures lie 70 feet underwater. The monument measures 500 feet long, 130 feet wide, and 90 feet tall. The structure shows clear evidence of quarrying, tool marks, and architectural planning. Marine geologist Dr. Masaki Kimura spent 20 years studying Yonaguni. His team mapped terraces, ramps, tunnels, and ceremonial areas carved from solid sandstone. The monument's design matches architectural principles found at surface megalithic sites. Stairs carved into the rock face show right angles and precise measurements impossible to achieve naturally. The last time Yonaguni was above sea level was 12,000 years ago. At the end of the last ice age, the monument was built on dry land, then submerged when glacial melt raised sea levels by 400 feet globally. The builders knew this was coming. They built their monument to survive submersion. Similar underwater structures exist off every continent. The Bimini Road in the Bahamas, stone circles off the coast of Scotland, megalithic walls beneath Lake Titicaca in Bolivia, pyramid structures in the Mediterranean Sea near Malta, all submerged when Ice Age glaciers melted, all showing the same precision construction techniques. Lake Titicaca sits 12,500 feet above sea level, but marine fossils embedded in the shoreline prove it was once at sea level. The lake contains saltwater species that don't exist anywhere else in South America. The ancient builders constructed Tiwanaku on Lake Titicaca's shores when the lake was an ocean bay. Tiwanaku's Akapana Pyramid shows water engineering that rivals modern hydraulics. The pyramid contains a sophisticated drainage system with stone channels, settling ponds, and overflow mechanisms. The system processed thousands of gallons per hour, turning the pyramid into a massive water treatment facility. The Gateway of the Sun at Tiwanaku contains a calendar more accurate than our modern Gregorian calendar. The carved symbols represent a year of 290 days, divided into 12 months of 24 days each, plus additional intercalary days that account for seasonal variations. The calendar calculates leap years with precision that wasn't matched in Europe until the 16th century. But the calendar's most disturbing feature is its starting date. Carbon dating and astronomical analysis suggest the calendar begins in 11,000 BCE, exactly when the last ice age ended. The builders of Tiwanaku were recording time from the moment their previous civilization was destroyed. Genetic studies of South American populations reveal another impossible timeline. Mitochondrial DNA analysis shows European and Asian genetic markers arriving in South America 15,000 years ago, 3,000 years before the Bering Land Bridge supposedly opened. Either humans crossed the Pacific Ocean during the Ice Age, or they were already there when the Ice Age ended. The Olmec civilization of Mexico presents the same genetic puzzle. Olmec statues show African facial features carved by people who lived 3,000 years ago in Mesoamerica. The largest Olmec heads weigh up to 50 tons auris, transported from quarries 60 miles away through dense jungle terrain. No known technology from that period could move 50-ton stones across such distances. But recent DNA analysis of Olmec burial sites reveals African genetic markers that predate known transatlantic contact by 2,000 years. The Olmecs weren't carving African features from imagination. They were carving portraits of actual populations living in ancient Mexico. Transoceanic contact becomes undeniable when you examine the evidence systematically. Roman coins discovered in pre-Columbian archaeological sites in North America, Egyptian hieroglyphs carved into rocks in Australia, cocaine residue found in Egyptian mummies, cocaine that only grows in South America. Dr. Svetla Balabanova's analysis of Egyptian mummies revealed cocaine and nicotine in tissue samples from over 100 mummies. Both substances come exclusively from New World plants that supposedly weren't available in Egypt until after Columbus. Either the analysis is wrong or transoceanic trade existed 3,000 years ago. The trade networks extended globally. Chinese silk found in Egyptian tombs predates the Silk Road by 1,000 years. South American gold artifacts showing Mediterranean craftsmanship, Scandinavian amber discovered in Mayan burial sites. Global commerce existed when mainstream history says civilizations were isolated on separate continents. Navigation technology explains how ancient civilizations crossed oceans routinely. The Antikythera mechanism isn't unique. Similar bronze computers have been discovered at sites worldwide. The devices calculate latitude and longitude using astronomical observations, enabling precise oceanic navigation. The Baghdad battery, discovered in Iraq and dating to 250 BCE, generates electrical current using copper cylinders and acidic solutions. Multiple examples exist, all showing evidence of electroplating, using electricity to coat metals with thin layers of gold or silver. Ancient civilizations had electrical technology 1,700 years before Benjamin Franklin. Electrical applications appear at multiple ancient sites. The dendrolite reliefs in Egypt show objects that look remarkably like electrical bulbs and power cables. The Temple of Hathor contains chambers with walls blackened by soot, except for certain areas that remain pristine. The clean areas correspond exactly to the locations shown in the electrical bulb reliefs. Underground chambers beneath the Giza Plateau show the same electrical burn patterns. Granite boxes in subsidiary pyramids contain traces of electrolytic solutions. Copper fittings show corrosion patterns consistent with electrical current flow. The ancient Egyptians weren't just building monuments, they were generating and using electrical power. The power source becomes clear when you understand the pyramid's complete electrical system. The limestone structure acts as a massive piezoelectric generator. Underground water flow creates pressure that generates electrical current through the low limestone. The granite chambers focus and amplify this current. The gold capstone that once topped the pyramid acted as an antenna, broadcasting electrical energy across vast distances. Tesla's wireless power transmission experiments in the early 1900s proved that electrical energy can be broadcast through the Earth's crust using resonant frequencies. The ancient pyramid builders had discovered the same principles 4,000 years earlier. They built a global wireless power grid using pyramids as transmission stations. This explains the global distribution of pyramid sites. They're not random locations, they're nodes in a planetary electrical grid. Each pyramid sits on geological features that enhance electrical conductivity. Underground water systems, metallic ore deposits, and fault lines that create natural electrical pathways through the Earth's crust. The grid explains how ancient civilizations achieved impossible construction projects. Electrical power for stone-cutting tools, electromagnetic levitation for moving massive blocks, wireless communication between distant construction sites. The pyramid builders had technology that we're only beginning to understand, but something went wrong. The electrical grid that powered ancient civilization also made it vulnerable to cosmic events. Solar flares, magnetic pole reversals, and asteroid impacts that disrupted the Earth's electromagnetic field would have shut down the entire system instantly. Modern science confirms that such events occur regularly on geological timescales. The Lachamp event, 12,400 years ago, caused a massive magnetic pole reversal that lasted 1,600 years. The Earth's magnetic field dropped to 10% of normal strength. Any civilization dependent on electromagnetic technology would have collapsed immediately. The Younger Dryas period, which ended 11,700 years ago, saw global temperatures drop by 15 degrees Celsius in less than a decade. Massive floods, volcanic eruptions, and species extinctions marked the end of the Ice Age. Any advanced civilization existing at that time would have faced complete destruction. The pyramid builders saw it coming. They encoded warnings in their monuments, designed survival shelters, and scattered their population across continents to ensure species survival. The survivors built new pyramids as beacons, hoping to re-establish contact with other survivor groups worldwide. In 2023, Moan tomography revealed a 30-foot-long void inside the Great Pyramid, positioned directly above the Grand Gallery. The void has been sealed for 4,500 years. Inside it may lie the complete records of the lost civilization, their technology, their warnings, their instructions for rebuilding after the next catastrophe. The chamber aligns with Orion's belt as it appeared in 10,500 BCE, the exact moment when the ancient world ended and our world began.